Hi, I'm Trinity, and this is TV with Trinity. Welcome or welcome back. And this is the first Monday of spring, my personal favorite season. So we are talking spring movies today. So these are take place in spring break, have just spring warmer vibes, and some of the winter movies that we've been recently watching. So I have 10 movies to talk about today. So let's get into it. Have to start out with the 90s it girl herself, Cher Horowitz in Clueless. Cher fancies herself a matchmaker, so in order to try and get some better grades, she decides to set up two of her teachers while also working on a makeover for her new best friend, Ty, and along the way, she might be finding some love for herself. Also, the spring outfits in this movie, top tier. I love every single thing that Cher wears in this movie. I need all of them. Next, I have the iconic Nicholas Sparks adaptation, A Walk to Remember. This is about pastor's daughter, Jamie Sullivan, and bad boy Landon Carter. When Landon is forced to do a play with Jamie as the lead, he realizes that he is absolutely in love with this girl. And once he realizes that, he does not play about Jamie, and I absolutely love it. And it's all about their relationship falling in love and maybe the short livedness of their relationship without spoiling it if you haven't seen it. Next, I have Ramona and Beezus. This is based off of the children's book series. Ramona is a very imaginative, very precocious, energetic little girl, and she gets herself into lots of adventures and sometimes a little trouble, and bringing her older sister Beezus along with her. And this movie is all about the adventures that Ramona gets herself into in school, family, and even a little bit of Beezus' love life. Next, I have Space Jam. Even though it's got a remake, I feel like we're not talking about it enough because this movie is absolutely hilarious. When aliens challenge the Looney Tunes to a basketball game and the aliens realize that they don't have the skills that they need to beat the Looney Tunes, they come to Earth and steal the basketball talents of prominent 90s basketball players, and the Looney Tunes recruit Michael Jordan to come help them beat the aliens and get the basketball talents to who they need to be back to.
Mike, you go to the hole and dominate. We own defense. Whoa, I don't play defense.
Also, the soundtrack of that movie, A+, like top tier, the best thing I've ever heard. Next, I have Footloose, the 2011 version. I do love the original, it is great, but the 2011 version is like one of the first movies that I like really locked in on. I watched all the interviews, all the behind the scenes, the rehearsal videos, all of it. I'm obsessed with it still to this day. I probably know the fake ID line dance from how many times I've watched this movie. But when Boston City boy Ren moves to a small town in Beaumont and meets pastor's artist Ariel and learns about the ban on dancing and loud music, he decides it might be time for them to shake things up. Next, I have The Muppets 2011, and I love The Muppets so much. They're some of my comfort characters. But in this version, Walter, his brother Gary, and Gary's girlfriend Mary are on their way to Los Angeles for a spring break trip, and they decide to go visit Muppet Studios, and they get to meet the Muppets, which is like everything to Walter. And I know this sounds insane, but an evil oil baron is trying to buy the studio from under the Muppets in order to drill for oil. So obviously the Muppets have to buy the studio back and save it. And it's honestly a perfect movie if you ask me. And also it's a Muppet movie, so there are obviously songs. We have the classics like Rainbow Connection, Mana Mana, but we also get some great songs from our new characters, Manor and Muppet from Walter, Me Party from Mary. It's so good.
Thought they were alone. He said, "There's oil under this studio, see? I'm gonna tear it to the ground, see? Sweet, sweet oil, see?"
People still talk like that?
Maybe that's just how he sounded in my head.
Next, I have The Wizard of Oz in honor of me still being obsessed with Wicked because it's just so amazing. But The Wizard of Oz is about Dorothy in Kansas, and it is tornado season, and Dorothy gets caught in a tornado and ends up finding herself in Oz and having to figure out her way back home.
Off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. We hear he is the wizard of Wiz, if ever a wiz there was.
Next, I have 27 Dresses, and I feel like spring is like the ramping up to wedding season, so obviously you have to talk about this movie. This is about Jane, a woman who has been a bridesmaid 27 times, and now her sister is getting married, and while her sister is getting married, all of her wedding prep, Jane decides to be the focus of an article about always being a bridesmaid and never being a bride, and doesn't go the way that she thinks, but she does end up with a happy ending.
It's really not the worst one. If I had to pick one, I got a good one. It's my favorite.
Oh my God, what the hell is that?
Theme wedding.
What was the theme? Humiliation? God! No, people do not have Gone with the Wind weddings.
I've been to 3.
Everybody has a secret. Duke wants Olivia, who likes Sebastian, who's really Viola, whose brother is dating Monique, so she hates Olivia, who's with Duke to make Sebastian jealous, who's really Viola, who's crushing on Duke, who thinks she's a guy. What more could you ask for? But she's the man. This is about Viola, and when her soccer team gets cut and she wants to try out for the boys team, but her boyfriend and the boys team say no, she decides to disguise herself as her brother to go to a different school and play on their soccer team to prove that she is good enough to be on the boys team, because she is. She's amazing.
Anyway, do you know when soccer tryouts start?
Noon. You play?
Absolutely. Center forward. You know it, bruh. So, you play the beautiful game? Bro? Brothers? Brethren?
Next, Blended is about Jim and Lauren. They go on a blind date that goes terribly wrong, but when they both end up purchasing one half of the same trip to Africa for their kids for spring break, they end up on this huge family trip, and it turns out to be a blended family weekend at this resort that they're at. So they're pretending to be a couple, sort of, to stay on the trip, but they still hate each other until they realize that they don't. Also, it's Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, and they just have the best chemistry, so obviously it's gonna be good.
Stop! Get out! Why would you not?
I'm sorry, honey, I didn't see anything.
Oh, thanks a lot.
No. There was plenty of stuff to see. I mean, I didn't see any gelling going on. How about a fist bump?
No!
Larry, we both need this fist bump. We're cool.
And a little bonus, I'm putting this one at the end because I feel like it could be a spring or a summer movie, so if you're watching this later in the season and you need something that'll get you ready for summer, I have Miss Congeniality, and this is about an FBI agent who has to go undercover to participate in Miss USA, and the reason why I'm including this is specifically because of the line,
Describe your perfect date.
It's a tough one. I'd have to say April 25th, because it's not too hot, not too cold. All you need is a light jacket.
which describes spring perfectly, so obviously I had to include it. Those are some of my favorite spring movies, and I will definitely be watching them throughout the season. If you have any recommendations for me, please put them in the comments below, especially if they're newer. I'm looking for some new spring movies to put in the rotation. If you want to follow me on any of my other socials, they'll be in the description, and I'll see you next time. Bye!